It's a pleasure for me to be here presenting this work on CAA. It is my first person CAA, so for me, it's an honor. I'm a PhD researcher at the University of São Paulo, and now I'm making a sandwich period at Leiden University here in the Netherlands. I'm working at LUCDH, the Leiden Center of Digital Humanities, and the partnership between both universities is essential to turn this research into something real and applicable. My research is named Ethnology and Archaeology, the development of an Archaeogame. I have two advisors, one in Brazil, her name is Dr. Maria Isabel Fleming from University of São Paulo, and one here in the Netherlands. His name is Dr. Angus Mall from Leiden University. I have one person that adopted me, is Dr. Aries. Thank you for always being willing to help. And now we can start with the introduction of this presentation. To start, I have a question. What is actually the impact of technology? First, we will focus here on the game industry. The game industry is one of the most industries that grow up exponentially, and this directly affects the market of professions. Archaeologists can't look only at the physical object. They need to learn about how to use technologies and show these artifacts to the world. Not only to show the artifacts, but to study them deeply. How we can organize and catalog data, all kinds of data, including game data and anthropological data as well. And how can we make this? Using technological tools in our favor. Teaching and informing about heritage and archaeology cannot be limited to writing scientific articles and academic books. It is known that the public does not have access to these works. Therefore, spreading this knowledge is a valuable strategy for reaching qualified and scientific information translated into simple terms in an interactive way. And what's the purpose of this work? The aim of this specific PhD project is the development of an Archaeogame, both in bibliographic part and in the practical part, with new approaches and models of research that can offer new parameters to the archaeological interpretation and the application of teaching strategies in classrooms. The aim public is students between 10 and 14 years old who want to learn about archaeology and heritage in a playful way. Methodologically, this research is divided in three parts: theoretical, interviews, and practical. The first one is the theoretical, which will explain introductory concepts like digital archaeology, cyberarcheology, and archaeogaming. The second one is the interviews part. I've conducted 40 interviews with professors and students in Brazil. The purpose is to listen to them and make the Archaeogame better for this specific public. The third part is the development. The Archaeogame will be developed using softwares like Blender and Unity, and the collaborations with labs from University of São Paulo and Leiden University. First part, the introductory concepts. Digital archaeology, I think, will propitiate even more the connection between humans and technology. The archaeologist with technological tools as well. Further, it will open debates to discuss the impacts made by technology in a philosophical and practical way. Cyberarcheology, here my reference is the work of Maurizio Forti and Alex Martini. And what is it? It is the combination between archaeology and cybernetic. Cyberarcheology is a potential virtual interpretation because the 3D model is the representation of the past. What we have are possible pasts made with different kinds of remains. Interpretation an object goes beyond the analysis of its physical support. Archaeogaming Archaeogaming is the study of archaeology within and of the digital games. What does it mean? It includes both hardware and software. Archaeological analysis can be applied to the physical components that make the game work as such: the processor, memory, screens, buttons, and accessories. Additionally, the software, which can be described as the synthetic world, consisting of levels, open worlds, items, and everything else related to the game itself. The game can be excavated and analyzed using methods and techniques similar to those used in traditional archaeology. The second part, interviews. The interview method that I choose to follow here was the qualitative and semi-structured approach. I've conducted 40 interviews in general, 24 students and 16 professors. I've made 2 groups, private schools and public schools, in different locations to compare the data. In Brazil, private schools are paid and public schools are provided by government. So I've conducted interviews with students and professors of private and public schools from the north part of Brazil, and interviews with students and professors of private and public schools from the south of Brazil. Why? North and south of Brazil have a lot of differences, including income distribution. Access to technology is totally different in both contexts. So what's the purpose of it? First, I support the use of anthropological methods in the archaeogaming concept. For me, ethnography can be added as a proper archaeogaming method, and I tried to make this real in this part of the research. So the purpose here is to listen to them and make the archaeogame better for students and professors. I need to create a playable game and an applicable game. To make this, I need to listen. I need to understand the thoughts of my audience. I need to make what we call a resonant game. And what is a resonant game? Resonant games emphasizes the emotional impact and meaningful experiences that can generate in players' daily lives. Such games aim to create a deep resonance between the player's actions, emotions, and the game's content, leading to a sense of engagement, immersion, and personal investment. The ultimate goal of resonant games is to provide players with a transformative experience that changes their perspectives, values, and attitudes beyond the boundaries of the game world. Resonant games hold significant potential as a tool for education and social impact. And then, to make a resonant game, we need to clarify the aspects of our persona and make an empathy map. Both methodologies borrowed from the design field, especially from the design thinking area. First step, make your persona. A persona is a fictional character that embodies the characteristics, behaviors, and motivations of real users. Personas often include demographic information as well as persona details such as goals, frustrations, and preferred communication styles. By creating personas, we can more effectively tailor their products and service to meet the needs of the intended audience. So this is my persona, Alessandra. She is a 12 years old kid in a middle school, student at public school in Brazil. She likes video games and reserves some weekly hours to play different games. This persona was made considering all the interviews that I've conducted. Second step, making an empathy map. Empathy map is a visual tool used to understand the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and motivations of a specific user or customer. It is typically used in the early stages of the design process to create a deeper understanding of user needs and experiences. The map is divided in 4, each of which represents a different aspect of the user's experience, what they see, hear, think, and feel, say, and do. Filling out the information, we can gain a more comprehensive understanding of the users and develop more effective solutions that meet their needs. Conducting interviews and making the persona/empathy map gave me some results. The first one, it needs to be a mobile game, but it needs to work without internet connection because not all students have internet connection in classrooms. Do not use specialized language. It needs to be resonant. Keep it simple but pretty. The game is not an educational guide. It will proportionate the debate in class with the assistance of the professors. And the most important tip, it needs to be fun. Third part is the product development. I use the Twine tool to create and to visualize my narrative. We make better choices when we turn the narrative visible. So you will be a teenage student that goes to an archaeological excavation and finds 3 different artifacts. You need to take care of it, search about it, about his story, importance, and secret. Last, you will need to choose 3 different finals for your object. And no more spoilers. This is an example of the Twine backend. It is not too complicated. It's not complicated at all to operate. You can add videos, audios, photos, and all kinds of resources. Here, you can see different forks that you may or may not follow. You have a similar tree of choices, and the try to become human. This is the front-end part of the Twine. The best part of this tool, it is playable. You can send a link and receive fast feedback. For developers, it is really important. This is one of the examples of an image that we can add here. I need to emphasize, I'm not making a Twine game, so this is only the structure of my narrative. That's why I didn't put a lot of effort on designing materials here. This is the part that I will develop on this year. I will make some adjusts on Twine first, and then I'm going to make the Archaeogame with Blender and Unity. The idea is to follow the style of the game Professor Leiden, doing puzzles that will proportionate interaction between the user and the archaeological artifacts, touching the screen on the mobile. The next steps are the development of the Archaeogaming product, address teaching difficulties through digital tools, demonstrate the importance of modifying methodologies in education and the use of non-conventional technological tools, application of the Archaeogame with interviewed students and professors. This research will deal with a topic related to an unconventional archaeological praxis. Therefore, I believe it is a very, even more fruitful field for the debate of ideas and methodologies. The ideas proposed here is the embryo of a discussion about how technologies can impact both the discussions focused on the field of the archaeology and the field of heritage, with a practical example to be developed. Thinking in a different way opens doors to a critical, analytical, and disruptive look. This is doing archaeology, it's knowing the past, it's shaping the future. I would like to thank many thanks to University of São Paulo, Leiden University, CAPS, CAA, to all of you, value, and thank you very much. These are my